and a website recently.
Well, okay, we're live now. All right. So we're going to roll the show out in just a second. We got somebody in the Zoom room. Let's see who that is. Oh, Angel Divine's here. Thank you for coming again, Angel Divine. All right, let me go in here and make sure everything's cool. All right, so it should be on my page now. So I don't know if you want to share it.
Okay.
To your page, but you can. It's there now. Okay. Let's see, to your pages, and I'm going to share into the affiliate groups as well. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let me just go in here. Shakara Tasha, what's going on? Long time no see. We've got 12 people in the house. If these shows resonate with you, please share. Let's see. I'm going to put them in these groups. Who else we got? And the event is happening. All right, 26 people in the house and counting. Delia Flores, Ivania, Shakara's here. Tio Guadalupe, Sedona. Sasha Grace is here. Your neighbor. Shannon McMillan Thompson, longtime supporter. Ricky Hint. Christine Giselle. Esther O'Kane, Susan Aaron, Thomas Clute, Tom Clute, Doris Ann Garland. Good to see everybody. Thank you for your continued love, support, and contributions. Alana Hartman. I'm going to have to, my phone's on 3%, so I won't be able to see the comments too easily. All right, so we got an exciting show. This is the third show of the day. I'm excited about it. We had a false start, but now we're ready to roll. So let me just give you a little background on our distinguished, beautiful guest, Alexandra Crystalline. Her page, she has a personal page, and she also has, which is Alexandra Clark. Alexandra Crystalline is on Facebook. Her page is dedicated to those wishing to delve deeper into the world of crystals and minerals. Her intention for the page is to be a platform where she can share information, methods, and modalities, products, and services, all with the guiding principle of aligning individuals, families, groups, and communities to crystalline consciousness. This is not limited to physical minerals and crystals. However, it is a focus it is her area of expertise. The page is dedicated to humanity's active earth embrace and the activation of our earth body crystalline template. So there's a lot to discuss there. Without further ado, let me just welcome you to Soul Speaks 5D. Thank you for sharing space with us today and honoring us with your presence.
Thank you so much for having me, Todd. It's an honor to meet you and to be here on the show.
Yes, it's a good day. It is Easter, by the way. Well, I guess over there where you're at, it's Monday, isn't it?
Well, it's Monday, but we're still very much in that whole resurrection period. It's been a strong time over the weekend.
Hasn't it? Yeah, hasn't it? Last week, the buildup was strong too, wasn't it? I guess the full moon was 2 days ago, depending on where you're at, but that was powerful. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's like I put up a post yesterday. I said, I can't keep from just smiling, and my grin keeps getting bigger and bigger. You know, I don't know. I don't know what words to put to it. The alignment is extraordinary. It's instant manifestation. It's just, I don't know. It's just, and I know there's people, myself included. I mean, there's things that are being presented to us in our face, and, taking us back to ourselves. It's never them, it's always me kind of thing. There's a lot of that going on, but it seems like people are processing them, seeing it, processing it fairly quickly, and getting on to the next one. How's your trip been the last couple of 2-3 weeks?
Wow, it has been incredibly intense, actually. It's I feel this time every year feels really quite big, and there's always that squeeze. It's almost like a rebirth feeling, or a feeling of that, all the pressure and the combustion that happens before we open into greater awareness and sort of pushing past the pain barriers as well sometimes. of realizing that all there is really is love at the end. So I think this is the, really the feeling that's come through over the last day or two for me is returning to that love space.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like these things that are, we're distractions, or we can call them whatever, lower vibrational frequencies, drama, dogma, pain, comfort zones. I don't know, but it seems like they don't, even if you go there, they don't stick. You can't stay there. It's like they don't exist. Like the thoughts will come in, a thought will come in like so-and-so this or so-and-so that, and it just goes away. It's like not real.
Yeah, I'm really experiencing, although there is still the crumbling away of the old paradigm still, we're still aware of ourselves when we kind of have those thoughts and limiting beliefs coming up. But it's almost like we can catch ourselves. Like I catch myself in, whether I'm slipping into an old victim pattern or and going, I can choose another thought. So it's like this layering that's happening where we have a choice, and it comes down to that free will and that strength, when we all share together our experiences to choose another way and to really connect into the more expanded possibilities of our fully resurrected crystalline body templates, which is our birthright and what we're here to experience.
Yeah. And there's something too I've been noticing over the last few weeks. My body speaks to me more clearly. Like I can talk to it. I could always do it, but not like now. Now it's like, it's very clear. Like, you've got this pain. Here's the problem. Here's what it is. It's not because you slept on the couch. It's because, you didn't clear this, or this needs to be cleared, or whatever. And I think that has something to do with this crystalline body. So I'm anxious to get into that conversation. Now you're in a special place in Byron Bay where our friend Sasha Grace is.
Yeah, I'm in a place called Kurabel, and it's in the hills of Byron Bay, the Green Hills, called the Rainbow Region. It's full of rainbows at the moment.
Wow. Wow. So there's good energy there, it sounds like. And now it seems like, based on what I'm seeing, that you've been working with crystals and minerals for quite some time. Yes,
I have actually. And people often ask me how I came across this body of work. And, it's funny because I think it must actually just be running through my veins because, my uncle's a geologist over in Western Australia. So, it kind of runs through the family there a bit. But also I used to go fossicking for crystals down in Tasmania as a little girl. Every time the rains came, all these topaz would wash down from the mountains. So that was very much ingrained into my childhood as well, that adventure of finding treasure and the things that the earth can give us, going and collecting all these treasures. So I've always been attracted to beautiful things, and color, and crystals are really the embodiment of that form and color that the earth produces. And
do you, this is probably a dumb question, but the only dumb question is the one you don't ask, right? Yeah. But now I would think that you must communicate, like some people communicate with animals, at a higher level or whatever. You communicate with the crystals and the minerals.
Yeah, the communication I've had with crystals is akin and similar to the way I communicate with trees and animals and all of the elementals in the earth realm. And I think it's very much connected with, just the earth magic and I guess shamanic pathways. And some of us are more attuned to different areas in those kingdoms. And I do communicate with crystals, but I communicate in a language of, it's really a feeling-based language, with trees and with animals as well. It's not necessarily words. However, I have had that as well. I've had very clear, directives come to me, but it comes normally like an intuition or a guidance or a feeling. And just a knowing. There's like a deep knowing, I think, when I'm connecting with crystals as well.
Yeah. And so how long have you been working with them? All your
Well,
life, I guess.
let me see. Not all my life. So when I moved to Byron Bay, I would have been about 23, and I applied for every job in the paper, just looking for a job. And I just happened to find this job working in a wholesale crystal warehouse. So
Wow.
that was my first job. That was, nearly 10 years ago. And that from that, it was a place called Heart of the Earth. And from that, I moved into another company called Cosmic Crystals. And so I've been literally around hundreds of thousands of crystals in a business environment, in a working environment. But while I was doing that, I was also doing, deep training and healing and alchemy and sacred geometry and all of that as well. So they really came alive to me when I was around them a lot. However, if I really look back, I remember one of my very first jobs was cleaning a crystal shelf in a little esoteric bookshop in Melbourne. And my job was purely just to keep them like dust free and beautiful and arrange them. And I just had a sense of how to arrange them so they all sung and they all illuminated. And I could see, which faces needed to be facing a certain direction and which ones needed to be close to each other and which ones didn't want to be close to each other. They're very specific energies, each of the crystals, each of the minerals,
Wow.
in which ways they like to be organized together.
Wow. I got to ask you too. This is really interesting. Do you have, I mean, obviously you have this relationship with the crystals and the minerals. Do you have other faces of the universe that you communicate with, galactic, angelic, divine essences, that type of thing?
Yeah, well, I definitely believe and feel, and it's part of my understanding that as humans, we are conduits between heaven and earth. So in the more heavenly realms, we have, which some people are more connected with, our star races, angelic beings, etc., who really are the architects, of creation. But it's through us, through our channel, that we communicate with our physical world. So the devic beings and the spirits of the land and the earth. So that I've probably been more in contact. I'm open to all because I'm a channel for both. And I understand that the directives I receive from spirit come through my body and manifest through more of the elemental kingdoms, because I have understanding of that through alchemical practices. But I couldn't say that I specifically work with any one thing aside from my own inner guidance. However, this technology that I work with is Palladian liquid light technology. So I'm very well aware of all of the star races that are part of giving us these tools and these directives that we can manifest in the world here and the creation in our physical reality.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wondered if that was your only lines of communication, like if that was a specialty, which it is a specialty, it sounds like. I mean, how else would you get put into your first job cleaning a crystal shelf and then the rest of them that followed suit?
It's really just sort of like one thing led to the next. So I do feel like it goes beyond just my conscious directive, for sure.
Yeah. Now, what is the Pleiadian liquid light? What is that?
So Palladian liquid light technology comes in the form now in a modality that I've worked with for also around 10 years called the liquid crystals. I'm not sure if you've heard of them before.
No.
But there is a guy from the Gold Coast, or Torquay, Australia, who now lives in the Gold Coast, called Justin Mojica Azar. And if you haven't heard of his work, it's definitely worth looking into. He's written the Liquid Crystal Oracle, and he is an amazing he has delivered some really incredible information from Atlantean times and re-delivered this information here. So a lot of it is through working with the crystals, but also all of the different kingdoms of the earth and above. So he has a really beautiful body of work that I've trained in for a while. So the liquid crystals are a way in which we can take crystalline essence or crystalline energies into our bodies, so we can program ourselves, because we are like a big computer. We're really a big crystal, because our blood is full of minerals. We are a living, walking, breathing crystal. They're full of minerals. So by taking a specific liquid crystal, we are actually giving our bodies coding. So it's not so much the ingredients, because we have everything we need within us. It's more giving it a specific recipe of codes in order for the minerals that are already inherent in our bodies to formulate and pulse in a way through our whole being that when we take over a 21-day period, because anything we do for 21 days reprograms our system. If you want to kick a habit, you do that for 21 days. If you can clear something in your system and create new habits, that's basically the process in which the body takes to recreate itself. So by taking a crystal into your body, and you're holding the energy of that specific encoding, so then after that period, it becomes quite natural for you to call on these ways of being or ways of holding your energetic body. I hope that makes sense. It's quite a
Now, when you say take them in, are you holding them? Are the liquid?
So they're liquid drops. They're physical drops that you can take internally.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's essentially the process of working with liquid crystals. It's the process of working with water, because water is like one of the only elements that can change form in so many ways. It can go from rain to steam to ice to snow. So water can hold, as we know through Dr. Emoto's work with programming water molecules. Water holds programs really easy, just as crystals do. So by taking water into our body and coding that water, we can program our bodies.
So with the crystals, I guess then they have, from the ancient days, I guess they have specific coding depending on what type of crystal it is.
So yes, the crystals, for example, can be broken down or looked at in a few different ways. First of all, it's chemical composition. So each mineral has a specific conglomerate of atoms and molecules and different minerals there. So that is going to have some impact in how it works with your body. Also the color frequency works in our color bandwidths within our body. Our bodies respond and are attracted to crystals that hold a certain bandwidth of color that we are out of balance within our body. So it's really interesting to look at, if you look at a whole table of various colored crystals, which ones you're most attracted to.
Yeah.
And also the geometric structure in which the way crystals grow. So every crystal grows quite differently. So each of these minerals have been broken down into geometric form, color form, and also chemical compositions as well. So it's quite a science, really.
Yeah, sounds like it. Do you know much about, because I don't, but I'm just curious because people talk about it, Andara crystals?
It's funny, Andara crystals have come a lot up in conversation lately. I've had people asking me about them quite a lot, and I believe they are from a certain place in the States. And I haven't had direct contact with them personally, because down here in Australia, apparently we don't grow them down here, but we don't supply them, or I haven't handled them, because there are a lot of they're crystals that can be easily manufactured. So
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm not doubting anybody's reality, and I'm not doubting anybody's beliefs. I have my universe and they have theirs, but I've seen a lot of stuff recently. I say recently, the last couple of years, on Andaras, and I've also looked at quite a few Andaras, and I wonder. Some of them I look at, and I'm wondering, this looks like shattered glass to me. Yeah. It looks fake, but then I've seen other ones that are intriguing and unique. I've never been one to pick up stuff on crystals. I mean, they'll say, hold this crystal. What do you feel? And yeah, I've had a little bit of that, but not like a lot of people, like I've heard people say, I put on this necklace and it was such and such. And it rocked me, for like 2 weeks. It brought all my shadow out or something else happened or whatever. But I haven't had that type of intimate contact, I guess is how I would put it. I have a few crystals and I like some of them, and but I'm just wondering because it seems like it's coming up to the surface. There's a lot of talk about Andaras. I was just wondering what your thoughts
Look,
were.
I agree with you. I find it hard to speak on things that I don't have expertise over, but I have wondered the same thing. In my line of work and in my industry, there are things that we have to look out for to be able to sell crystals. There are a lot of manufactured, man-made rip-off versions. So, and there's also, it's really good to be aware that even at the source, when these minerals are coming out of the ground and there's a new type of mineral, there are the people who write the crystal books. So all your, Judy Halls and Robert Simmons and all of these guys, the suppliers will call these guys up and say, guess what? We've found this new mineral. Would you like to name it and do a little, write up in your book about it? So I'm not discrediting a lot of these crystals, but a lot of them it's almost like this desire for something, what's new and what's rare. And again, without having personal experience with Andaras, my opinion is that I believe that the crystals that we have in abundance on the earth, the ones that we look over and we don't pay much attention to because they might not be that pretty or they might not be that rare, but they are the ones that the earth is giving us to be using and integrating. So, and sometimes it's just the rocks, it's actually rocks going to places on the earth where there are big, beautiful granite boulders or ancient rocks that have been there forever. You don't need to put them in your pockets and own them to
no,
feel.
I definitely, I feel that. I that's one thing in my journeys, especially being up in the mountains, Sedona, Utah, Arkansas. I mean, the grandfather rocks speak to me. I mean, I do speak to them now. When I started my journey, I carried a pouch with rocks in it, and each one of those rocks meant something, and they came to me, and they meant something or represented something. So I guess I have had that type of relationship, but not in the sense like I have a friend that works in a crystal shop on the North Shore here in Kauai. And in fact, she was telling me that they don't have Andaras on the shelf there because there's a question of, what's real and what's not. Not that some Andaras are not real, but no, I just think it's really interesting. I think crystals seem to be playing a bigger part in this whole awakening as well. Now, it sounds like you've been studying this stuff for quite some time. You have on your page listed products and services. So obviously you are a supplier of crystals, I would think, but also then you have service, which I'm assuming is like some type of energy work utilizing the crystals.
Yeah, look, the work I do myself, or I have done for a long time, is help people find or source crystals that they are looking for specific to the energetics that they're working with. And that often is in the form of something that they can wear, like an amulet or a personal crystal. So you'd have seen Sasha was wearing a beautiful Larimar piece the other day, and that's how we met. And that's how I make a lot of my connections, because people are looking for specific crystals and are wanting to carry something with them. But the seed of my work really is more about the transmission and the understanding for people of how they can use crystals to really come into alignment with their purpose and become activated on their path. And that's something I think for me that's more important than just having a couple of crystals in your, on your altar. What's more important is understanding that the crystals are just physical representations of crystallized light. And this is kind of what we are as humans. It's like showing us that as we embody more light, as we become more of a channel of the love that wants to enter the planet, we become crystallized. We're crystallizing our very beings. And so my services that I offer are doing personal readings and looking at a crystalline body template that is unique to each and every person on their individual path. And what in crystal terms, because I understand crystals well, so when I can see specific crystals that are working with people, that gives me an indication of which directives they're working under and where their challenges may be, and what crystals are going to help open doors for them so they can move into the next space of their evolutionary path. And this is called pathway working. So I work a lot with the Tree of Life, which, although is known as a Kabbalic wisdom, it actually has come from Syrian technology as well. So there's a lot of technologies that we have available to us now that really lay a foundation and a map of how to, go from the one and to experience your individuality, but also find the pathway back into the center again. So I'm very interested in helping people understand where they are on their path. And
so you do like a diagnostic thing, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was a car, I'm going to go into the garage, I'm going to plug it in and tell me this is what. So yours is you do a scan, basically, I guess. Is that what you're doing? Like a scan, but that's been birthed by your relationship with the crystals. You're able to take that into your field, right?
Yeah, it's almost also like the initial consultation is almost like an astrology report. So just seeing what the picture is, the bigger picture, and then we go into what specific areas of focus or any particular issues you might be working with. Some people come to me with physical ailments, physical issues. Other people come with emotional problems or other things that are coming, really struggling to find their path. So depending on what someone wants will depend how the session kind of unfolds. But essentially I like to do a full report just to get an idea of what crystal represents your purpose. I worked out yours actually, Todd, and I think you'd find it interesting to know, considering the work you do.
So tell me first, how do you, I'm just curious, it's just my curiosity.
How do you do it?
I love that you're about to say this because I want to hear it. In fact, I had some things popping in my head and I'm wondering if you're going to say them. But so like in my case, how did you do that? You just looked at my energy and said,
No, not yet. I haven't. I wouldn't do that without permission, Todd.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But what you can do is purely based on your name.
Okay.
So your name is kind of like a way that you can bring a name down into numerical value, down into crystalline value.
Oh, wow.
So through doing that, I'm given 3 crystals. Now, a lot of people change their names or they're called different things, but the important thing is whatever you were named at birth, that's the name that your parents or people around you continually called you. So it's imprinting on your field. You have a certain vibration of the sound that people are calling you. And that sound holds within it keys and codes for you to unlock throughout your lifetime. So there'll be a purpose that's represented by a specific crystal and a shadow crystal, so something that will represent your challenges, as well as when you really understand and can merge your shadow world and your purpose world, and you can really hold the two, a higher purpose will open up for you. And essentially that's what we're all here to do, is to find a calling beyond just our own personal lives as well.
So what did you find out?
Well, what did you find out? So the 3 crystals just from Todd. So I didn't ask if this was your birth name or not, but Todd held within it as the purpose crystal sapphire. So I've got a picture here of the Atlantean symbol for sapphire.
That's freaky, man.
Yeah, and sapphire.
That's really freaky because, my beloved, last summer we were in Georgia and she downloaded a soul signature, and a few days later I downloaded mine. But that card,
really?
let me see it again. Yeah. In fact, I'll pull it up and put it on the screen if I can find it. I believe hers might look like a 7. The 7 part of it is flipped the other way, but I'm telling you, the resonance there is incredible. That's
also, I mean, the color blue is very interesting because it's in your Soulogy. I can't even get my mouth around that. You have a lot of blue energy around you, and I can just see just by looking at you.
Blue's always been real big for me, and it is for her actually. The teals, the blues, the baby blues. Yeah.
And sapphire really speaks of being a truth seeker and one that uses their voice to illuminate the truth. So that's what sapphire, one of the many ways sapphire works, but they are the one. Sapphire is one of the crystals on the Council of 7. So there are 7 crystals that were originally seeded into our planet from long ago. It's a big, long story, but sapphire is one that's been around for a very, very long time at the dawn of our earth.
No, that resonates. That resonates.
Yeah, so that makes sense, that doing the work you do and using your voice to interview, to communicate, and to speak with people, that sapphire would be, coming through you. So it means that you've really stepped into purpose. And the shadow crystal with that was angelite, which is all about peace and the angelic.
Excuse me? Did you just say angelite?
Angelite, yeah.
Oh my God, that's freaky. Okay, go ahead. That's the shadow crystal, and that's a blue color too, isn't it?
It's also blue. You've got 2 blues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, just because it's a shadow doesn't mean it's like all bad. It just
no. Yeah.
It's something that you are really here to embrace and to embody. Yeah. And angelite, of course, connects with the angelic, but it's all about peace. And of course, the shadow aspect of peace is lack of peace.
Yeah.
So the journey through your life is through experience, a lack of peace. You've found ways to embody or to align with peace in your life through communication and through seeking the truth. Yeah,
I'm digging that. Yeah, anytime I get imbalanced, I just pick up the microphone and start doing a show. Or that's very interesting. This is great. Everybody gets to get like a little taste of what you do. I like this. So what's the third one?
So the higher path of this. So there's always an ascending order. So the shadow always holds like a so I don't know if you're familiar with the tree of life, but we're constantly sort of moving up and down, like the Kundalini serpent moving up into the monad at the top. So often the crystals will start somewhere on the tree and move up. So you've gone from 4 to 2 to 1. So this is the stages of your soul growth. So the last one you'll find in the top sphere, which is a beautiful pink stone called pink tourmaline. And pink tourmaline is all about love. So it's all about being the living embodiment and the gift of love.
Wow.
So there are many stones that speak of love, but this one sits right at the top in the God sphere, or the monad, if you're familiar with the way the tree of life works. So it's a beautiful energy to come here as a soul to gift.
God.
And that's just a little micro reading. That's just
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think it's great that you were able to do that, because people can kind of get an idea of where you start with it, I mean, that's really, I'm like a little blown away here, not because of the words, but because I can feel the energy and the alignment. I have to ask you a question,
please.
And I don't know why. And these are the ones that, I know I'm supposed to ask. Dragons.
Oh my gosh.
This is about you. It's usually, I'm just telling you, there's something about, I don't know. And I don't usually do this 1,000 shows. I don't do stuff like this. I'm just telling you, a few minutes ago, this big green dragon appeared behind you. I saw it. I don't think anyone else would have saw it, but I mean, so I'm just asking, is there something going on with the dragon right now, or something with you?
Yes, actually. Wow. That I actually heard one of your shows the other day. A lady was talking about dragons, and it always pricks my interest when I hear dragons, because I have worked with a dragon as part of a inner journey. So I connected with. It's hard to remember sometimes whether when you meet these beings or you have these experiences, whether they were in waking time, in meditation, in dream state, in vision state. I can't remember exactly the origin,
yeah.
but I was in Peru last year or the year before, and I had a vision space. I connected with a dragon, a sleeping dragon in the mountain there, and awoke this dragon. And and I've continued to have visions of being with this dragon and coaxing this dragon to breathe fire again, because it's had been asleep for a long time, and I got a lot of information from this dragon, and it flew and moved to one of the mountains here in the mountain ranges where I live, and I saw in vision the entry to these caves and all these like inscriptions up the walls, these like crystalline, like these codes, these light codes that I see sometimes in gold, and it was in the center of these mountains. So often when I'm in vision space, I go into the center of mountains, and this is where the dragons, are often asleep and some waking up right now. And
I'm kind of. What color was that dragon? Do you know, or did it have a color?
It wasn't green. It was actually, up close, I could see that its scales were garnet and ruby color. Yeah. I thought crystals, of course, because that's just the way I see
that's the way you see the universe.
Yeah, I see the universe through a crystalline lens, but I could see its scales were rubies and garnets.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, once you start getting that stuff, and then the mind starts to.
But then when I went to Shasta, I met a water dragon.
Oh wow!
Again, yeah, I met a guy. It was quite an amazing story, but and I said to him the same thing you said to me. I said, "Do you have a dragon with you? Because I'm seeing this dragon." Yeah, and it's hard to explain how I see. It's not with my eyes,
No, of course not. Do you think that the dragon has something to the getting the fire breathing, getting the fire back up in it has something to do with you?
Yeah, definitely. I feel. I mean, my humble opinion with all visions and all beings that we connect with outside of us are really parts of us.
Of course.
They're sort of mythical and archetypal parts of ourselves. And my experience with dragons has been that there's some ancient primordial wisdom held within the earth, meaning held within our bodies, that is waking up. Dragons, I spoke to a shaman in Peru about these dragons, because I told him about my vision, and he said, "Do you have dragons in Peru?" And he said, "Yeah, mummy, we do. We have dragons." And I was like quite surprised, because I never heard of dragons in Peru. You hear of them in China or in other places around the world, but he said the dragon represents the embodiment of the three realms. So the serpent or the snake is the underworld, under our feet. The puma, or the feline beings, are the ones that roam our earthly realm, and the eagles or the condors are the ones that work in the etheric realms, in the heavenly realms. And a dragon or a sphinx is actually a combination of all these animals together. They often have like a feline body and a serpentine skin or a serpent tail, and the wings of a bird or a beak, like the what do they call those mythical creatures? I know what
you're going to say. I can't believe you said that. I can't remember the name right now, but I remember running into that mythological. I know what you're talking about. It kind of looks like a pterodactyl, but it's not. It's not. There's another name. Yeah,
Griffith?
That's it. Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, and then there's another name for it too. There's another name if you look at the etymology of it. But I remember getting that before I woke up, like 7.5 years ago, before I really woke up. I remember having like coming across it, and I don't even know why. Because it's kind of like a phoenix, but it's not a phoenix. It's a griffin, right? And I remember being attracted to it, and like, what the hell's going on? Like, it's trying to tell me something, but I had no idea, what was going on or what I was actually receiving. But yeah, there was a lot of information, and I remember that. Yeah, that's interesting. I also pick up on like, and I don't know why I'm telling you this. I guess because maybe it's an exchange of energy. I don't know, but the feline thing.
Yeah.
I had that came in right after the. Yeah, there you go. Yes, yeah, I saw that Lyrian thing, in around you too. I don't know, well, if I was supposed to tell you that or not, but yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it's interesting.
huh.
Oh, sorry. Were you about to say something?
Well, I was going to say something on behalf of one of our friends. Cheryl Lynn was on here yesterday, I think. I have no linear timeline memory at all. I can't remember anything. I think it was yesterday. She did a show out of Sedona, and she got exposed to toxic mold. And she said in the comments here, she said, I love the idea of liquid crystal. Maybe that would help me with the toxic mold I'm clearing.
Yeah,
Would that be something that, would that be something that could help her, the liquid
sure.
crystal?
There is always a solution for pretty much anything on the face of the planet that provides us with everything we need, everything. So,
very cool. So I would definitely encourage Cher to contact you, because she's incredible. I don't know if you saw that show yesterday, but she's in the same frequency as you are. She does some incredible work herself, and has been for many, many, many years. Yeah. So the other thing that strikes me about you is, well, you're obviously you already gave your age away, so you're young compared to most of the people in these circles, and you've been doing this for at least a third of your life. I mean,
I
you've
feel like
been.
I've done it for lifetimes, Todd.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just been waking the dragon within me, really waking these old memories that have laid dormant for a long time, and clearing the the patterns, programs, and belief systems that hold us back from being the true expression of ourselves. So many of us have so much to share, and thanks to people like you who are like shining little torches in the way to help people light up. That is really really amazing.
Sasha Grace would like to hear about Moldavite, and Sherilyn asks you, did you find Tanzanite as a child?
Tanzanite. No, I said topaz, but Tanzanite is only found in Tanzania in Africa.
Oh.
It's actually one of the crystals that is very difficult to mine. And it's one of those ones that it has been known to not have a lot of people who buy crystals these days want to know that they're ethically mined.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in certain countries, like Tanzania, for example, the conditions for mining stones like Tanzanite are not great.
Yeah.
So because they have to go into tiny little shafts with not much air, and just not great.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons why and why the liquid crystals have been birthed on the planet. So we don't need physical crystals.
Yeah.
So we can work with the energetics of them. And
Yeah.
even for those who can't access the liquid crystals, to be able to work through the Atlantean symbols. So these cards that I work with, they're like a portal or a way to activate. And I've been able to program my body as a conduit with a lot of these 77 crystals, so I can transfer them through my hands.
Have you? I know you received or you went through many years of training or instruction from the gentleman that you had talked about earlier, but has most of your information and stuff just come from your relationship and connection with infinite intelligence? I mean,
I think there's always foundational information that we pick up through you know, books and classes and workshops and teachers and that kind of thing. Of course, it's sort of like a remembrance, but I really believe the way each of us chooses to work with the information we have,
Yeah.
which is just knowledge. Knowledge is useless unless you have you put it into practice and in use.
Yeah.
So I've had I've had my own experiences that have been quite profound, that have informed my practice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I remember when I woke up, they told me, we're giving you all this information, all this knowledge. And then they'd say knowledge plus action equals wisdom. You don't take action, it doesn't mean nothing. I don't usually go through questions, but all these questions are popping up.
Oh,
and I don't want to run out of time. And I wanted to, well, some of them are going to lead up to where we were about to go anyway. But Sasha, in regard to Moldavite, can you give us a quick synopsis on Moldavite?
Okay, so Moldavite is one of the stones that is known as a like a meteorite that actually came from outer space.
Mm-hmm.
So this part of this meteorite collided with Earth long ago, and in the process of going through the atmosphere, a certain isotope was, I think it's beryllium-10, was activated within. So it was like a transformation process of piercing the Earth, and as it hit the Earth, it actually changed again. So the Moldavite is actually, and a lot of meteorites are a merging of heaven and earth. It's like the stars coming through. You can imagine almost like I'm getting a picture of a sperm going into an egg, you know, like and there's something magic that happens when you force these two together. So they say that the Moldavite is the stone of the star child and the new star children that are being born onto the planet at the moment. And energy that it holds, this green color bandwidth, is a bandwidth of healing that is replacing the older green bandwidth, which was held by emerald. So emerald is one of the stones that was known as the primary spiritual healing crystals on the planet from long ago. And it's often found in a lot of the high priest breastplates and in sacred texts. You see it written about so many times. But as our earth is changing, we are needing more support and a lot more galactic support now. So Moldavite really represents that that gift from the stars that has come to assist the new children of light. And you know, for a lot of people working with Moldavite who I've heard over the years used to have really like spacey way out experiences and feel like it was a bit too much. And often it was recommended that people work with labradorite first, because labradorite gets all of the alignments happening in the etheric bodies and energetic bodies in order to receive the information from Moldavite or receive the activations and alignments. But for the kids, for the new kids on the block, for them, Moldavite just makes them feel like home. You know, it's so not everybody has a way out experience. You know, just because you hold a crystal and you feel something really strong, it's not neither a good nor a bad thing, really. You have big experiences to
I want to get to one more, and then the question that would lead into the conclusion. I gotta say, you know, I've talked to a number of people that are crystal practitioners or you know, work a lot with crystals. Most of them don't do it on a singular level, though. They do other things. I gotta say, you'd have to be up and coming, at least at a minimum, one of the experts in the world, man. You're like into all aspects of it, you know, all the parts of it. So somebody asked, I was just going in order because I don't want to run out of time or dishonor anybody. Opals. What are the characteristics of opals?
Okay. Opals are a stone of emotional magnification, and all the crystals really are emotional medicine. So they work on our emotional bodies primarily. But opals are one of the stones that actually have all of the elements present within it. Like it's like fire and water, because they're very high water content. But there's often you see like these amazing colors, you know, when you move the opals around, it's like fire opals. So you have fire in water's embrace, held crystallized within the earth. So it's quite an embodiment or a physical manifestation of all the elements coming together. But primarily, water is one of the highest compounds within this. So it really helps activate and move any emotional blocks that are held within the body. So emotional magnification is the short answer.
I've never been a big, I'm not a traditional light worker. I'm really not. I've always done things my own way, and I've never been a big, for me, rocks. I don't know what they're called. I just know that I pick that one up. You're supposed to draw a triangle on the ground and build a fire in the middle or whatever they're involved. But I've got to say, you piqued my interest with your knowledge of the crystals. I don't want to run out of time. We're going to go right into another show. Somebody asked, here's another one. So I'll just parlay this into my question. Help. Where do we get liquid crystal from? How do we use it? So let me parlay that into, tell us what you do, what products you offer, what services you offer, and what the accessibility is to you from around the world. I mean, I'm assuming maybe that you do some work online as well as possibly shipping things. I'm just throwing it out there, but just so everybody will know, because I have a feeling you're going to be inundated with messages. And also, where do they contact you? What's the best way to contact you? So
first of all, best way to contact me is if you go to my website, Alexandra Crystalline, there is a contact form there, and there should be some options of what areas of interest that you want to engage with, or likewise on Facebook is great as well. So please feel free to contact me. I just want to mention also, I do weekly live readings as well, and monthly forecasts, crystalline forecasts. So it's sort of like an astrology report from a crystalline perspective. So
now, do you do them as lives, or do you do them
Facebook lives? Yeah.
And where do you do them, on Alexandra Crystalline Facebook page or on your website?
Alexandra Crystalline Facebook page.
Okay.
And then I try and upload them to YouTube, but sometimes I forget. I'm not super tech savvy, but I'm getting there. So if you're interested to hear more of my information, that bit's free, so anyone can access that anywhere. As far as working with me one-on-one, yes, I can work with someone anywhere in the world because it's all energetic. As far as getting the liquid crystals to you, though, I haven't looked into what the shipping details are or restrictions with the sending them, internationally. Sometimes with liquids, it can be an issue. So there are a few ways I can work with people to get liquid crystals internationally. First of all, there may be practitioners in America, I'm not sure, but it's worth, I'll have a look, and I'll put this on the thread and see if I can connect with anyone over there. I don't think they've reached America yet. I know they're in France, and I know they're in New Zealand, but Australia is the birthplace of the liquid crystals.
Wow.
But I can dose from afar. So if we have a session and there are certain crystals that you want to work with, and I know this can be a bit much for some people because they're not feeling like they're having, like, to have a physical liquid crystal with you is quite a shamanic process of, you have your day in, day out, you're dosing yourself, so you're activating yourself, which is empowering. However, I can do that from a distance. So I'd have to just see where people are and look at postage costs and see if I can get them to people as well. But they're not expensive. They're like $10 a bottle. And the intention was to keep the price super low so they'd be accessible.
Yeah. And I know people who who do ship small liquids, around the world. And I'm trying to think of but I know, I know I'm shipping a box from South Australia. It's $150. If you can ship a box, I mean, surely you can ship a. I took
my whole liquid crystal set to Egypt, and I thought I had a bomb with me, so I had to,
I would imagine
with them the whole set. But I'll look into postage, but I'd love to.
Well, it's just going to create a high class problem, So you're going to have a bunch of people contacting you and get ready, and that's what this is all about. It's a platform for people like you, and in the audience, and I'm really happy to support this. We are at Soulogy, and would actually like to do it again because I think it's a breakthrough field. You know, I mean, it's on the cutting edge. So I think it's good technology to be sharing. Yeah.
We've just scratched the surface. There is so much to share in this field, and I feel truly excited and honored to be on the leading edge with crystalline technology and it's stuff that's awakening in all of us.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
right.
really feel the importance of speaking, and the transmissions that are awakened through face-to-face connections are just as empowering as physically working with physical crystals.
Oh, absolutely, they are. Sometimes they're more powerful.
Yeah.
So everybody contact Alexandra. I put her link in there. It's that big long one, but I'd ask you to go back in there when the show's over in a second. And if you would put your links in the comments to make it easy for them, because a lot of people are going to be reaching out to you. Yes. We're going to go into a quick ascension update with our brother Jason Estes in 2 minutes. He messaged me before this show, and he's about to head to California, and he said there's a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and in the spirit of supporting each other and helping everybody, he wanted to go on, and so we're going to do that. I invite everybody. We're going to jump out of this Zoom room and go into another one. It'll be on my Facebook page, and we'll be there in just a second. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom. Your knowledge plus action, which is wisdom, and honoring us with your presence, sharing space with us. And I look forward to working with you and collaborating with you again and supporting your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you.
All blessings to you and yours. I'll see you later. I'll see everybody else. If you want to come, be there in a couple of minutes. Bye-bye.
I'll jump. Bye.
Thank you.